Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I certainly hope you're having a fine one. Hope you like this little scene I got here for you. Nice little creek right here and everything. Okay, what this video is about, ladies and gentlemen, quite simply, is this is just a basic tutorial, a basic guide, if you will, to rock hounding. I'm not talking about no major mining operation. I'm not even talking about gold panning. I'm just talking about rock hounding for agates, precious mineral deposits and that kind of stuff, okay? Now I boiled this down to three basic things that you need. There's actually more involved in that, but let's just keep this file simple. That's me talking to me. Okay, right off the get-go, you need one of these things right here for basic rock hounding. This is a rock hammer. This is a 22 ounce. This might be a little heavy for some of you folks. And this guy right here is made by Estwing, E-S-T-W-I-N-G, Estwing, if you can see that right there. The reason why I'm kind of hyping up this particular rock hammer here is simply because it's made in the United States. And there are smaller ones, cheaper ones on the market. This guy here is going to cost you about a $35 bill, but it's well worth it. Trust me on this. You need that rock hammer right there for busting the rock, shale, and different things like that. Okay, another thing you're going to need, let me get my trusty survival pack here. This is irreplaceable, indispensable. I like this one. It's a National Geographic Pocket Guide to Rocks and Minerals of North America. Okay? And the reason why I like this particular publication right here is quite simply because what it does is it shows you the different rock formations, you know, like say a hillside. You got a bunch of rocks on a hillside, a rock formation. It'll show you the formation, and it also will indicate to you, chances are, what kind of deposits you're going to find there, okay? And also, I can't sit here right off the top of my head, because I'm not a geologist, and start naming off all the you know, precious metal. I don't want to use the word metal, you know, otherwise we're getting into the field of silver and gold and stuff like that. But I could no more tell you the names of all the precious rocks than the man in the moon. However, let me say this much. I did work at one time from 1990 to 1995 for the Montana State Bureau of Mines and Geology. So this is kind of something I know something about. But you need one of these roadside amateur geologist handbooks, okay? And another thing that I think is absolutely necessary is a loop. This guy right here, I did a full-length video, well, not full-length, but, you know, I did a YouTube video review on this loop right here, a magnifying glass. You got to be able to have, this is a 30 power jobber right here, but you got to have, you know, you want to be able to check your find, and it's, you know, to check the grain in the rock, the compression of the rock, and that sort of thing like that. And also, in my case, I like to do a lot of rock hounding around small streams like this, where Mother Nature is already eroded away, and sometimes Mother Nature has helped expose some of the precious rocks, if you will, you know, okay? And like I say, this video here has nothing really to do with gold panning or, you know, mining for silver or anything like that, because up here in the state of Montana, if you don't believe me, come up here and try to set up a mining operation. All these yuppies and environmentalists will have you right by right by somewhere you really don't, you really don't want to set up a mining operation in Montana. Way too much red tape. Let me just put it to you that way. Okay, I broke it down to three things: a loop, a magnifier, if you will, a good old rock hammer, and a geologist roadside pocket guide, if you will. And that's about all there is to it. And And like I say, I use streams like this. I like to get off in areas like this. For one reason, I'm out of the sun, because rock hounding's hard enough the way it is. And also, while I'm at it, things come into play like shovels, hoes, rakes, and stuff like that. But up here in the state of Montana, that's one thing you don't want to do, is come up to a nice little stream like you got right here and start destroying things, throwing dynamite around, blocking the natural flow of the stream, using any kind of chemicals like cyanide or, whatever have you, like the old timers used to do. State won't let you do that, and you get fined. So, but a little bit of harmless rock hounding, no big deal. Now, a lot of people might want to say, well, hey, look here, dummy, go get you a metal detector. I got news for you. Metal detectors don't work on certain rock or mineral formations. Key in on the word mineral versus metal. I'm not talking metal here in this particular situation here. I'm just talking about agates and God knows all the different names of all the different rock formations, okay? Precious minerals, okay? That's what I'm talking about. And so, that's all there is to it. Thank you very much for the review, ladies and gentlemen. Have a nice day. Go out and find you a nice rock. It's a nice hobby. And have a good day. We'll see you on down the trail.